What is the smartest thing your pet has done? My cat hides his vomit and hairballs by putting one of my socks on top. I used to be fooled. But now, when I see a lone sock sitting in the middle of the carpet, I know shit's gone down. I was hiking with 4 of my dogs in the countryside. And when I got back to my pickup, I noticed that my keys were gone. I walked to a local stables and called my mom to bring the spare keys out so I could get home. When she arrived, she was quite upset because the set I had lost included fancy remote car starter. She said we had to go looking. But I had covered about 7 km of fields that were covered in snow. There was no chance we'd find them. I called my black lab over and waved the spare keys in front of his nose and told him to go find the keys. He bounded off and came back 2 minutes later with the lost keys in his mouth. Amazing TLDR, black lab found keys lost in the middle of a snow-covered field. My dog is a stomach on legs. He's also a spaniel. So has the retrieving instincts. And would run off with anything, shoes in particular. So, one day, my sister and I are eating sandwiches on the sofa. He looks at us, realizes scrounging isn't working, runs off, and returns waving a shoe proudly. I get up to get it off him, putting my sandwich and plate down on my seat as I do so. As I make my way over to him, he ditches the shoe and dashed over to the other side of the room, eating my sandwich. It was too amazing to tell him off for. I was playing PS3 with my dog sitting on the couch. I had been playing for several hours, and I said to him, I should probably take a break or something. I swear. He got up, jumped off the couch, stretched, sniffed around, and then walked over to the PS3 and hit the button with his paw. I was so dumbfounded it took me a minute to recover, and then I was so proud I went downstairs and gave him a brand new bone to chew on. Our neighbors had 2 dogs, one of which only had 3 legs. My dog and their dogs loved to play together. And since my dog could clear our 4 to 5 foot fence no problem, they would play all day. I guess one day they got bored of playing in their yard and wanted to come enjoy ours. But since the dog with 3 legs could not jump over the fence, they all worked together to literally move the stacks of firewood to make a stair-like system for the other dog to walk on. Everyone was amazed, and we were too amused to take it down. My cat used the toilet unassisted and without any guidance. If I left the lid up, she would straddle the seat and poo, and I remember the first time I caught her doing it. I actually apologized and closed the door. Was having a party and had a 3-foot sub sitting on the kitchen table. We were all downstairs and my buddy Kevin and I came upstairs for something to find my 80-pound chocolate lab Monty up on his hind legs snarfing down as much of that sub as he could get. I yelled, "Monty!" And he started eating faster, I guess knowing that he hadn't much time. But that wasn't the smartest thing. I grabbed him by the collar and ushered him into my room to sit him on his dog bed, really just a couple of old comforters folded up. Hey, I was poor at the time, and made him sit in the room as punishment. As I sat him on the dog bed, I heard a kind of squishing noise. I lifted up a fold of the comforter to find he had stashed some copious amounts of deli meat from the sub in his bed already. My dog, Rib, Buddy, grew up in an area with not many neighbors. So we basically just let him outside and not really care if he left the yard. Then more people started moving in, so we had to keep him in the yard. We started with one of those leashed bases that you screw into the ground. Dog dug that up and proceeded to run around with a 10-foot leash and metal base behind him. So we got an electric fence. Dog would test that thing every single day and take off the second the battery died. He wasn't mischievous or anything, he just loved running. I used to drive with him over to a trail and go running 8 to 10 miles. As he got older he couldn't make the full distance. So he'd just go and chill by my car. I'd leave a bowl of water near, until I got back. God damn it, I missed that guy. Used to have a pretty smart cat called Spike who figured out the seemingly confusing, for a cat, anyway, intricacies of the door handle fairly quickly. Awoke one morning about 5ish to find that the cat had let the dog and they'd gone for a little wander down the road together. We only found out they'd nipped off when the milkman started ringing the bell to see if everything was alright after he'd found the door wide open. Didn't figure out how they got out until the next day when the dog started crying to be let out and the cat willfully obliged. My dog was a rescue from an abusive family. They said he was worthless, dumb as dirt, etc., etc. Pretty much left him outside day and night, and it was obvious that the father physically abused him. 2 weeks after moving in with us, we had taught him to fetch a beer out of the fridge. My cockatiel is able to put things together rather easily. Her cage used to be out in the hallway, and she'd always want to be in my room with me. But I kept the door closed to keep warm. She noticed my cat would scratch on the door and I'd let him in. So my bird started landing on the ground, walking up to my door and knocking on it with her beak to be let in. Not only that, but when I moved I had to keep the door open for our cat to be able to come and go from the bedroom. In an attempt to keep my bird in the room, we'd leave the door cracked ajar that the cat could fit through, but a wingspan could not. She learned to land on the floor, walk out of the room, then fly off to find me. We used to have a parrot that could pick combination locks. Best we can guess. He would listen for the clicks inside the lock to know he got to the right numbers. My wife and I had just had a baby. One night, during his first week home, he started crying in his crib, as babies will do. So I was up with him, trying to calm him down when our youngest dog came running into the room, jumped up onto the bed, and dropped a pacifier next to me before hopping back down and going back to sleep. One time my mom had my dog outside while she was doing yard work. This guy came walking pretty fast out of the wooded area between my house and my neighbor's house and startled my mom. He said he was a meter reader for the electric company or something odd. Well, as soon as he appeared, my dog, who is the sweetest, most gentle dog in the whole world, started going nuts. I mean like barking, growling, arching his back, everything. My mom apologized and he said it was okay, then took off down the street. Well, like 30 seconds after he disappeared around the corner, 2 cop cars went flying down the street in the same direction as the guy. Within a couple minutes there was a helicopter flying all around the area. Turns out the guy had tried to rob the bank in the shopping center behind our house and had made his escape out the back way of the shopping center. My mom was so discombobulated by his appearance she didn't suspect any nefarious activity. My dog just knew. My dog Zen can climb fences. As in, she hooks her paws onto something and climbs up like a human would. It's mental. We've had to build extensions on all our fences so she doesn't get out and chase our neighbor's sheep. I wouldn't let my dog take her little squeaky ball outside, as it was brand new and once it goes outside it gets destroyed. She would go to the door with it in her mouth, and I would take it out, and she would walk away. This happens about 4 times. So I go to the other room, where I hear a little squeak. Look out to the back room, and I see the dog at the door. This time with no ball. I figure she has to go out, so I open the door for her. She steps outside, opens her mouth, and the ball pops out of her mouth. She had compressed the air out of it and put it in her mouth. I stood there shocked, and before I could even reach for it she grabbed it and ran off. I figured she earned it, so I didn't even try and catch her. Damn dog. My golden taught himself to go get the paper from our driveway every morning from watching my dad do it. We lived in a really small town, so all our neighbors and us would let our dogs just run around outside all day without leashes or fences. So in the morning my dad would just open the front door, wait a few minutes, then the dog would be back with the paper. This worked until his golden retriever master-pleasing hyperdrive kicked in and he started coming back with everybody else's papers too. My pug has furry chew toys that squeak. She learned as a puppy to grab one with her mouth and ram it into my leg repeatedly to get it to squeak. My BF was trying to scratch a spot on his back that was hard to reach, and his dog reached over and scratched it for him with her paw. Rip. Jasmine. My tabby Ginger was super smart. Best story was one Thanksgiving growing up. My mom had just taken the turkey out of the oven and placed it on the kitchen table. Ginger decided of course this was made for me, so I'm going to sit in a seat at the table and await my feast. Seeing her sitting at the table, licking her lips, she was quickly shooed away and we all had a laugh. A few minutes later she comes over to us, calling us to follow her to the outside deck. At the time we had a small children's table set up for my little brother. She had killed a bird and put it on the table. She was so ducking proud. My cat would put a bouncy marble in her mouth, bring it to the top of the stairs, let it drop, and had fun chasing it as it bounced down the stairs. Afterwards she would take the marble, put it in her mouth again, and run up the stairs to do the whole thing over again. I taught my dog to read and obey written commands as part of my undergrad senior project. It really didn't even take that long. I used a clicker, easily the best way to train, and wrote sit and down and shake on big pieces of paper with Sharpie. I would hold up a command, then say the command or do the hand signal, and when she did it I clicked the clicker and gave her a treat. She learned to recognize the shapes of the words and associated them with the proper command. It was pretty awesome. I haven't been working with her lately, but I really should. She loves learning. I always bring my 2 dogs and cat inside during night time, as they tend to complain when they are left outside. One night, I could not find the cat anywhere, and fell onto my lounge in defeat. My younger dog, Minty, came over and looked at me like, "Need some help there?" I did need help, so I asked her, "Where's the cat?" She raced out the door, then started to bark. I followed the noise, and discovered her licking the cat's nose between barks. I do this every night to find the cat, and strangely enough Minty is always licking the cat's nose. TLDR. I asked my dog to find my cat, having never done so before, and she got to it immediately. My childhood dog had occasional seizures. They weren't severe, but they scared him and me, and I always tried to sit with him whenever he had one so I could talk to him and hopefully calm him down. I don't know if it actually helped. Honestly, it was more to make 9-year-old me feel better than anything else. Anyway, he and the cat I had at the time were pretty much best friends. They played together all day long, got into trouble together, slept together, and any time I wasn't around when my dog started to have a seizure, she would come running to whatever room I was in, meowing and making a big fuss until I followed her to the dog. She did this at least a dozen times before he died, unrelated reasons. My Staffordshire Terrier, similar to a pit bull, was an escape artist. He would get out, take himself for a walk, then come home and sit on the porch. He learned to open the latch on a chain link fence, so we put a lock on it. Learned to dig under the chain link fence, so we put railroad ties and cement under the fence. Learned to climb the chain link fence, so we made it taller with a section that tilted in. At one point we installed a hidden fence with a collar that shocked him if he crossed a certain point. He would sit in the warning zone where it beeped, until the beeping stopped, battery died, then leave. We had him fitted with a harness and attached him to the stake with steel cable. He would go to the end of the cable, get it tight, turn around and back out of the harness. We got our money back for that one. We tried putting him in a crate, but he ate it. We ended up getting some heavy-duty steel kennel panels and bolting them to the cement walls in our basement. We had to padlock it, though, because he could open that too. We joked that we shouldn't let him see the combination to the lock.